Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. So I was getting a good schedule, but then this weekend, Mississippi State football, it was only like 21-7 at half, and we're playing against like a directional Louisiana school. But anyway, I'm looking at the stadium right now. It's at night, and I had inspiration to record a video because this Kyler Murray situation is very, very interesting. And Kyler Murray next year, it's questionable. There's going to be a lot of talk that he's going to be on the PUP for the entirety of the year to avoid basic guarantees. Now, I don't know the exact numbers on this. You can probably Google it, search it up. But there are many people talking about it, that Kyler Murray, basically, he's not going to be on the team next year. It's going to be Caleb Williams. And I agree. It's hard to see this team winning, especially if Kyler Murray isn't playing. And you see by them getting rid of Colt McCoy and then bringing in another backup just the same caliber as Colt McCoy, but just with less experience. And with Clayton Tune, you could see the mode here that, hey, we're going to want to tank. And it's pretty obvious what's going to happen with the Arizona Cardinals. But if they cut him next year, they can save a whole bunch of money. It's actually more than I thought it'd be. Now, it's not going to be the easiest thing to get rid of. He's still going to be about $45 million in dead cap space. But I think the Arizona Cardinals, if they're smart, they can get rid of all the money that he has on his contract. Once you got rid of Cliff Kingsbury, you kind of know the writing's on the wall for Kyler Murray. So what team is going to get traded to? I'm just kind of saying all that to say this. I call this the tier. So they're basically like three tiers. This is the tier. The Dolphins, if Tua Tagovailoa really keeps getting injured, that'll be interesting to bring Kyler Murray in. You're not paying Tua yet. And, you're paying Tyreek Hill and you have to pay some other guys that are going to be contract worthy. But this team has been shown they are willing to make gambles. And with all their offensive weapons that they have now, that would be interesting. And I think Tyreek Hill takes a little bit of a step back this year, but I don't think it'll be much. And I think Tyreek Hill is going to be a good player. Next, you have the Lions. Now, I just don't see it being a fit. Same thing with another team on this list. Yeah, another one team, the Packers, and also the Patriots as well. You're kind of northern teams. Can Kyler Murray succeed in there? Now, the Packers, I don't think would do it just because they were already dealing with Aaron Rodgers' personality. Why would you bring in Kyler Murray's personality? And then with the Lions, same thing. I just don't think it's a culture fit. I think they want more of a game manager type, and if not, like an athletic game manager type, kind of a little bit like a guy that they got in the draft in Hendon Hooker. I think that's going to be perfect for their scheme. So they'll overall go with that. I don't see them going a Kyler Murray route. And then the Rams, Matthew Stafford can't relate to teammates, but can Kyler Murray relate to teammates? That's a similar question. In division, I don't think that they'd make that trade. Those are the teams in the tier that would be interesting, but I just don't, for whatever reason, seeing it happen. So, number 5 on this list is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, we already know. Like last year with Daniel Jones, it was like, we don't think he's going to be on the team next year, but we know for a fact that Baker Mayfield's not going to be on this team next year. Maybe we'll keep on Kyle Trask enough because he's just a developmental backup. You just keep on the team, he'll develop. You could throw him in. But Kyler Murray, they're going to have a new coach. Todd Bowles is not going to be there. We already know that. And if you want to pair him up with a guy, let's say Lincoln Riley wins the national championship, you go to the Buccaneers. Lincoln Riley, I'm not sure if he's an East Coast type of guy, but you get that type of vibe. You're going to bring in an offensive coach in that division, primed to win. And a division that feels like it's primed for the taking. Just in general, you think that the Panthers are the up and up and Falcons maybe. But yeah, and speaking about the Falcons, they're going to be higher on this list. You're just going to have to wait for it. They're not the next team. The next team on this list is the Minnesota Vikings. So similar kids to the other teams in the NFC North, but they do play in a dome, and you play in a dome for 8 games plus the Lions per year, and the odds are another 2 teams. But you have an offensive-minded head coach with Ken O'Donnell. Oh, I forget his name. Why am I forgetting his name? Okay, I shouldn't even have said. But you have an offensive-minded coach. You have Christian Darrisaw, you have a decent offensive line that could protect. That was also a downfall of the Arizona Cardinals, although they don't have like the best offensive line in the year in the league. You have some pieces there. It's not the greatest, and I think they could be making improvements there if they do bring him in. But this feels like they're going to get rid of Kirk Cousins at the end of this year. It feels like the writing's on the wall with that. I wouldn't do it per se, because y'all saw with teams, that try to upgrade at quarterback immensely, like Denver, you don't always get the quarterback that you think that you're getting, per se, type of thing. The Vikings would be next on my list, and I would not like that move, per se. Next on my list is a very interesting team, obviously. The Raiders and the Cowboys are also on this list. Two kind of, marketable teams, per se. The Raiders Aiden O'Connell looks like he's going to be like the next Brock Purdy from what it kind of seems like. So maybe he's going to be the quarterback next year, but Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be in his second year. I'm not sure the personalities will quite match with the Josh McDaniels, but we've seen kind of the Patriot system kind of have a soft heart for athletic quarterbacks that are kind of skill playmakers. You do still have Davante Adams on this roster, but it does feel like this team may just embrace tanking. It'll be interesting to see where the coach lies in that, but I feel like this team just embraced tanking because they don't really have that many talented players. They're not really primed for the taking, but you could see a team like this in the other conference, especially wanting to trade for a guy with Mahomes, Herbert, and Russell Wilson, whatever he ends up being in the same division. So they'll be interesting. I just don't think they're going to be in the prime spot to do it. Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those tweeners. So Kyler Murray to the Raiders at whatever. At 2 on my list is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they just traded for Trey Lance, so there's somewhat interested in there, but it's just a contract for Dak Prescott doesn't allow for that to happen. Now, this is a common saying, but we've seen crazier things happen in the NFL. We've seen quarterbacks off contracts. Like, oh my God, why would you do it? We've seen quarterbacks offer contracts. We've seen people get out of contracts. Dak Prescott, it would be, I'm going to put the exact number up, I think, in this video, but I looked at it. It's like something stupid, like $40 to $15 million in dead cap. Now, it's much more feasible in 2025, but I don't think the stars aligned for that. It's all about timing and with quarterbacks. Unless you want to go for Trey Lance for 1 year, but then I don't know how you'd work Kyler Murray into the situation. But that would be an interesting fit. It would still be in conference, but you only play them every 3 years, and at least in the same division. So it would be. I would say it would be interesting. But what happens with Mike McCarthy after this year? You would assume that Dallas would have to completely tank in order for Kyler Murray to be an option here. Then you'd have to get a new offensive coordinator. That's where I see the more likelihood of you getting a Lincoln Riley, somebody in Dallas, big, but do you in turn want to promote Dan Quinn, your defensive coordinator, because he did a good job this year, but maybe they both suck and they both get out. So I don't know. But Jerry Jones, the time is ticking, and there's a whole thing with Kyler Murray being like the best Texas quarterback ever to live and never losing in AT&T, whatever, until like recently or something. Anyway, number 1 on my list, I mentioned them before. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I had a soft space for Desmond Ridder coming out of the draft. He was my number 2 rated quarterback. I need to go back to see the exact rankings. I think I had Pickett, Riddler, Willis, and then Howell. And then I was not a big, who was the 5th guy? I forget. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. But I should be talking about Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, who's a little bit overrated, I think, at this point. Drake London, who I severely underrated. It looks like he deserved to be the number 1 wide receiver coming out of that draft, even though you do have a Chris Olave and a Garrett Wilson. But the offensive line is great. They tried to make a trade for Deshaun Watson. You may have a coach that is, had success, but still is a little bit on the hot seat, because I have them going 9-8 and win the division. You may go, hey, we have a chance to get Kyler F. and Murray here. Let's bring him in. We're, again, in a dome, in a good division, a team that, hey, I want to take this division. We already talked about the Bucs earlier in this list, but a team that could be like, hey, we're trying to win this division. We're trying to go to the next level, and I'm fighting for my job. So let's go get a quarterback who's drafted number 1 before, Arthur Smith. Now, Arthur Smith is a little bit of a red ass, so we'll see if that, combination lives. He doesn't take no for an answer. He's not, Kyler Murray's guy, so it'll have to be a fit. But that would be number 1 on my list. In the end, Kyler Murray's going to have to go somewhere, right? He's going to be stashed on the bench, kind of like what may happen with Russell Wilson and Jarrett Stidham be the quarterback. So we're in an interesting era here of a couple quarterbacks that are being paid a lot of money that may just go by to the wayside, including Matthew Stafford. I don't think Sean McVay is going to take any of Matthew Stafford's crap, that type of thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I was planning on talking about a different topic this video, maybe, but I didn't expect this list to be this long. But I like making these types of videos. Obviously, I'm not the football guru that knows everything in the NFL and can diagnose what scheme fit. But I just want to come up with a video like I did with Cam Newton, like I did with, what if Aaron Rodgers gets traded. I think I put, like, the Chargers and the Rams on that list, as well as the 49ers. So, yeah, see, I knew he was going to get traded. So, yeah, inevitably, we're going to watch this back in about 6-7 months, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we have some football to watch. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.